Hello, my dear subscriber. I'm glad to welcome you to the Urologist Naumchuk channel. My name is Oleksandr Naumchuk, and I am a practicing urologist. I talk about everything related to urology, everything concerning men and women, and all urological issues affecting both men and women. Today, we're going to talk about something like anal sex. Should you engage in it? How often should you have it? What are the pros and cons of anal sex? And what is the difference between anal sex for men and for women? If we discuss the format of anal sex for men, the picture is that a man usually wants more anal sex from a woman. Only about 20% of women in the entire population engage in anal sex. Why is that the case? Because from the very first moment, the man feels that he has power over the woman, and she is giving him a certain kind of permission to her body. For a woman, on the other hand, this triggers both physical and psychological fears. Most men, or rather, approximately 20 to 25% of men like to receive anal sex themselves. Why does this happen? Because at that moment, there is closer contact between the penis and the mucous membrane, which leads to more intense arousal and more vivid orgasms. Guys, this is very important information for you. Anal sex in a couple should come second, after classic sex. Not first, it should be second and follow classic sex. Why is that? Because first of all, arousal occurs during classic sex. There is increased blood flow to the muscles of the pelvic organs, which causes these muscles to relax. The anal passage and rectum relax. More lubricant is released in the rectum, and as a result, your partner's fear decreases, and she becomes more open to sexual contact for anal sex. So what are the downsides of anal sex? First, there is pain and discomfort. Second, anal fissures, which can appear after anal sex. And third, there are infections that can be transmitted during anal sex. Most often this is E. coli. But in order to avoid all of this, you need to follow certain rules. First, use a condom during sex. Second, use a sufficiently large amount of lubricant when having anal sex. Third, if you are switching between anal and vaginal sex, you should also change the condom. Fourth, take a shower before and after having anal sex. So what are the advantages of having anal sex? The first is the absence of pregnancy. When you have anal sex, you will never get pregnant. And for those who think that pregnancy is still possible in this case, that's simply not true, of course. Second, the need for anal sex after childbirth. Because, again, often a partner cannot immediately have traditional vaginal sex after giving birth, but anal sex is an option in such cases. Third, there is a high level of pleasure for both men and women. Fourth, anal sex can be practiced during menstruation. If you're a woman and you know that your period is coming, but either you or your partner still wants to have sex, then anal sex is a perfectly normal solution in this situation. It also affects hormones in both men and women, but now there will be more information specifically for women. So look, as a result of anal sex, a woman produces a large amount of testosterone, and this testosterone affects sexuality, libido, and all related processes. Why does this happen? It's connected to the fact that the contraction of the rectum and the anus leads to the activation of the adrenal glands. The activation of the adrenal glands itself leads to the production of a large amount of testosterone in women. The next advantage is the novelty it brings to the couple and to their sex life. And finally, probably the last advantage is a complete ejaculation, because as you all know, and if you don't, I'm telling you now, interrupted intercourse, that is, interrupted ejaculation, is not particularly good for men. But in this situation with anal sex, there's no need to worry about that, and a complete ejaculation is possible. So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. leave your likes, hit the notification bell, and share with your friends. If you need a urologist consultation, you can contact me. The link will be down below in the description. And I hope I explained this topic clearly and understandably. And if you still have any questions, ask them in the comments. I'll definitely answer. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.